Hey guys, welcome to my channel. This is More Than Endo. My name is Khalida and welcome to my channel. Thank you for taking the time to just watch my video. I truly appreciate it and thank you. I hope that I'm able to bring content that you are able to resonate with, that you're able to connect with. You know, I definitely want to do my best to keep the conversation going down below in the comments. So make sure that you like, comment, and subscribe. I'll say that again before the end of this video. I've shot this video a couple of times. Like in the beginning I was like nervous, and then I guess as I started recording and hearing myself talk more and more and more, I start to felt like comfortable. So I'm just going to jump right into it. So this channel is basically going to be about my life and my journey with endometriosis, and then I do have another chronic condition, but we'll talk about that later. But for the beginning of this video, I just want to focus on like endometriosis and like what this channel is going to be about. So mainly, like I said, my life, and let's just get right into my story. Well, I'll do parts of my story, but I just want to give you like an overview. So basically, I'm 32 years old. I'll be 33 in December. Shout out to my Capricorns. We are the best. You know, don't kill me in the comments, but I love my Caps. But I was diagnosed with endometriosis at the age of 16, 17. I think that's the age where they kind of thought something was going on, because I remember like I was in the hospital for like a week. I missed a week of school or something like that. But I think that was the beginning of them like trying to figure out like, okay, what's going on with this girl. You know, I heard the doctor say it, but he said polycystic ovarian syndrome. You know, it was just a bunch of stuff that was talked about at that time. I didn't have an actual biopsy done until I was 21, you know, and in between that time I was on like different types of birth control and stuff like that, and nothing was really regulating my periods, because my cycles were 7 days and I would bleed heavy those 7 days, and then I would stop bleeding for 2 days and then literally spot into my next cycle. So pretty much that's how my that's just how my life was with endometriosis. I don't want to use though. I don't want that to become offensive, because I'm not saying it like that. So I gotta figure out like what type of hand motion I want to use, because I feel like that can become offensive. I'll figure that out. Don't kill me in the comments. This is my first video. I don't need a roasting right now. Maybe later on down the line you guys can roast me, but in the beginning, just, you know, try to be nice. So like I said, so 21, I've had my first surgery. They tell me I have an extensive amount of endometriosis. They kind of like put everything back in place. My intestines were very involved with scar tissue, with my endometriosis. You know, that fast forward, you know, I'm kind of feeling okay. Cycles is not, they're still the 7 days, but they're not as heavy as they was. 23, boom, I have another surgery because the pain's not going away, and blood clots are getting big, and you know, my blood count was low. And I'll talk about like, I think I'll talk about the symptoms that I've had, but not pertaining to like, I guess like the normal symptoms. But I think I'll make another video talking about like what my life was like struggling with anemia, stuff like that. So I think I'll do that later or two. So, you know, 23, have another surgery. And that surgery, I end up, you know, being on the operating table for only like an hour and like 45 minutes. They closed my case. I had so much scar tissue and so much adhesion that the general surgeon that was also in the surgery with my GYN said that she couldn't tell the difference between my intestines or my ovaries. She couldn't tell the difference, and it was just so stuck and glued together that they diagnosed me for frozen pelvis. They closed me up. They pretty much told me, listen, your endometriosis is too invasive, way more than what we're capable of dealing with at this small local hospital. And, you know, I think that you need to go to a doctor in the city. And, you know, like I said, I don't know if I said it, but I'm from Philadelphia, but at the time my doctor was not, I didn't have a doctor in the city. I had a doctor in the county. Which I regret that every day of my life. Like, oh my God, I regret that. Like, that's one of those things where, like, you know, like, you have a life-altering moment, and they have a life-altering thing that happens to you, and it changes you, sometimes for the good, sometimes for the better, but you'll never forget, like, you'll never forget that decision that you made. You'll never forget that action that happened. And I definitely feel like not following up with a doctor in the city definitely played a part in the rule of which how my endometriosis, I say, went down the tank. But I think I might talk about like my feelings about it a little bit later, because I want to make this video like short. So, and I feel like I have the tendencies to like go on rambles and stuff like that. So, you know, 23 years old, I have another surgery, like I said, closed me up. So then they're like, you know, I think that you would definitely have to look into fertility treatment if you want to get pregnant. You know, and my GYN at the time told me, she was like, and my advice to you as a woman, I would start the fertility treatment now. Like, I wouldn't wait, because your time and your clock is ticking in a different way. So I think that you should look into that. So at first, like the first year and a half, I didn't want to even talk about my issues. I just literally just put it in that closet, shut the door, lock the key, threw the key away, you know, or put the key in this spot where I can come back to it. I didn't want nothing to do with it. I was like, I'm not dealing with this. This is getting too deep for me. I'm too emotional. I'm young. I should be worrying about having fun and just trying to figure out life and figure out who I am. Didn't have time with it. So then, like, because the symptoms don't go away and the pain doesn't go away and the bleeding doesn't go away. So it's like I put it away, but then it was like, here she is every month destroying my life every freaking month. So, you know, I felt like I had to deal with it. So find another GYN, and he's pretty much agreeing with what my other GYN said. I'm not sure if you can see my legs, and I have on like my pajama shorts. So he pretty much agreed with what the first GYN said, and he pretty much was like, you know, I think fertility treatment, or I think that you should see a fertility doctor. I don't necessarily know if fertility treatment is 100% going to fix the issue, because I'm not sure if, you know, if it's fixable. So I'm like, oh, so like you're just saying like I'm done, I can't have kids? And he's like, but you know, I'm not a fertility doctor. This is just based off what I know, based on your cases and the images that I'm seeing. So I found a fertility doctor. I give him all my information, and he's like, oh, I can get you pregnant today. And I'm like, but I have all these like issues. I have all this surgery, and I just didn't like him. He was like I said, I can get you pregnant today. There's nothing I can't do. And my thing, I was like asking him about like, what's your success rate with patients with endometriosis? How many patients have you had with endometriosis? And he was like, millions. And I'm just like, I don't like your answer. So I went through, you know, the appointment, and then I left. I was like, oh, I'm never going back to him. He's arrogant, he's cocky, and he's telling me that he's had millions of patients with endometriosis. And that's, I'm not saying that's impossible, but like to some degree, like that's impossible, because so many women probably don't even know if they have endometriosis, let alone are even getting the proper diagnosis, let alone seeing the proper doctor, or even in the stages of thinking about having children. So I just did not like him. So I just was like, I'm done. I found another doctor at another different practice, and he was straightforward with me. He pretty much said, like, listen here, like, you're very young, you know, you seem like you know a lot about your disease, and I want to be frank with you. You really have a really high, oh my God, I literally just recorded this video earlier, and I had to stop it because this idiot in this, anyway, I'm sorry about the noise. That literally just like ticked me off. So he pretty much said that, you know, like, I'm not going to sugarcoat it. I'm not sure if you can be able to get pregnant, but we can start the process. He said, but I will only go as far as I feel as though it's healthy for your mental state. Then he said your physical. He said, once again, your mental comes first, and then your physical. Excuse me. So I felt like, you know, I felt comfortable with him. I felt like he explained everything to me. I felt like he listened to me, and I felt like he was honest with me. So I, you know, my boyfriend at the time, I thought he was on board the way in which I would have thought somebody was on board dealing with somebody that has like fertility issues. So we went through as much of the treatment as I could go through, which was, I did like a bunch of like, I took medication, I was getting blood work a lot, you know, and I was just getting ready to, the next step would have been the injections, but I didn't do well. So I feel like this video is going to be so long. So I had taken Lupron before, and I probably should have said this. So between my first surgery and my second surgery, I did Lupron. Lupron, oh my God, what, like, I mean, it is 5 o'clock. These people are killing me right now. Hey guys, sorry about that. My phone died. I'm limited on space really quickly. I only can record 10 minutes in 4K on my phone, and then my phone dies out, so I had to start recording all over again. I have a OnePlus 6T. Is only available with T-Mobile. I'm not really into like buying expensive phones at this age. And I probably have been like that over like the last 5 years. I don't really see the purpose of it. I just feel like it's like unnecessary. My phone does the same thing. I mean, yeah, this is a little bit of inconvenience, but like for me, I feel like it's just really not that deep to try to keep up with what everybody else around me has. That's just not me anymore. I think I've like outgrown that a long time ago, but especially when it comes to phones, like it can record in 4K. It gives me the look that I want. I can talk, text, be on the internet. I can watch a video, watch YouTube at the same time. I'm good. So, like I was saying, so between my first surgery and my second surgery, I took Lupron. It put me in a crazy menopause state, something that I'm definitely in right now because I did have a hysterectomy at the age of 28. So, you know, I kind of feel like thinking about it now, like the symptoms that I'm having now, and I think I'll do a separate video talking about having endometriosis as well as being in menopause at the same time, because it's not fun, trust me. And for women out there that know what I'm talking about and experiencing it, you know that it's let me just say, I assume that you are going through the same symptoms that I am. I don't know, but like it's definitely not fun. So, you know, it didn't work for me. So I was flat out. I told him, I said, listen, I did not take to Lupron really well. My hair is just starting to get thick again. Because, like, I have 4C hair. I have 4C hair. I've had it all my life. And I've always had very, very, very thick hair as a child. And even as a young teenager, I had thick hair. And honestly, once I did Lupron, my hair just day and night. Like, you know, it's still like 4C, but the density is not as what it was before, or what I remember my hair used to be. So he pretty much was like, you know, well, Lupron is like a drug that we use, and if you're not, and I said, well, you know, he said, if you're not willing to use it, I don't know what else we can do. I said, well, what is this accessory? You know, like, I said, well, is there any way we can just like focus on like seeing if like the medication I'm taking? So he's like, no, like, can we just do a couple injections? So I'm like, no, we're not. I'm not doing that. And, you know, sometimes I feel like maybe I should have tried, but I just feel like it just wasn't for me, so I didn't do it. So we end up like hiring the dose of medication, and I still wasn't showing any like prominent growth of follicles in my ovaries or whatever, like eggs. Like I wasn't really, nothing was producing. You know, it was still the same, and my left ovary wasn't showing anything. They couldn't find any follicles. You know, eggs. Why did I say follicles? I mean, you know, whatever. But I was told by him that, you know, and at the time, the relationship that I was in, my boyfriend at the time wasn't as supportive as I was. So, and we had issues. So it kind of was like, it was just too much going on around me to keep focusing on that. So ultimately, I just stopped. I just gave up, stopped it. You know, he was kind of on the same path. It was like, listen, honey, this is not working. So like, I think I'm taking your money. But I think ultimately that played a factor into like all of the emotions that I had going on, you know. So I stopped, and then I started looking for another doctor. Spending hours and hours and hours on the internet, late nights, you know, like just engaging myself in endometriosis a way that I never did it before. Like, you know, I knew I had it. I searched a little bit, read a little bit, but I really wasn't like obsessed with it. And I became obsessed with finding a doctor. And that's how I found my doctor in New York. And I found my doctor. I read up a bunch of information on him, watched a bunch of watched some like videos on him and stuff like that. And, you know, he did have a lot of like high profile like celebrities attached to him, but that wasn't what was important to me. It was the fact of how he spoke and how he talked about listening to women. So, you know, it felt good and it felt right. So I made a decision. I made an appointment. You know, I went up there with my parents, and I was blown away. I've never had a doctor sit there and listen to every single thing I had to say. And then he even like listened to my parents. But I sat in his office and I talked to him for over an hour. And I never had that before. I was always like, you know, cut off, you know, like with doctors, or they'll listen to you, but you know, you get that feeling like, okay, come on, like I have numbers. And his office was packed. It was a small little, he has a small little office in the middle of the Upper East Side of New York. And he was like, you know, no, I'm going to answer your questions. I want you to be comfortable. And ultimately, you know, it was decided that I would come back up there, get some blood work done, get another MRI done, and then we would discuss and see what we can do from there. And then after that was probably like another year, just because it was just like, I was going, and like Philly, New York is really not that far. It's like maybe 2 hours, but you know, between working, I was working, you know, this is before like right now I work 12 hours overnight, and I'm a patient care technician at a local hospital. But this is when I was working 5 days a week. So like, it was like taking days off. It was like, you know, catching the bus. First I was driving, and I was like, okay, this is just too expensive. And then it was catching the bus up into New York, which kind of actually made me fall in love with New York too. But that's like, maybe I'll talk about that. And maybe I'll talk about the places I've been in a little bit, or in another video. But so it was kind of like, you know, I was feeling like, you know, it was a lot going on, and I was also feeling like, you know, this was right for me. So, you know, after the MRI is done, after all the blood work done, it was, you know, ultimately made, well, his decision was like, listen, you know, your endometriosis is very, 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 very extensive. And I feel as though that the only thing that would give you the relief of pain that you need right now would be for me to do a hysterectomy. So, you know, at first I was like, oh, you know, I'm 27. I don't really know. I don't know if that's good for my ultimate health. I was like, you know, well, then, excuse me. I was like, let me like search this, you know. I'm like, so then I'm looking up like, oh, you know, it's so many different issues that comes with putting a woman in menopause at such a young age. You know, I already have high blood pressure, and I've had that since I've been like 23, 24. So like, I'm like, okay, so certain hormone medications that I won't be able to take. I'm African American, so there's another set of issues that goes in there because I only can take specific blood pressure medication. So it was just so much that was going on through my head, and I'm just like, you know, I want to get back in school, but this endometriosis has, I can't go to school. I can't go to school and then have the pain like this. Like, I can't go to school and be paranoid if I'm going to bleed through my pants after having on a tampon and 2 pads. I can't do that. So I'm just like, oh, I don't know what to do. But ultimately, I made the decision. I told him that the following year I would do my surgery. So 27, I made the decision that the next year when I turned 28, I would have my surgery. I had my surgery in June 26th of 2016. I decided that if I was going to have my surgery, I was going to have the whole summer off. I was like, you know what, I'm not going to be dealing with this pain, dealing with this surgery in the wintertime. No, I want to be able to at least enjoy some weather while I'm in pain. And I'm so glad that I did it because I was out of work for 12 weeks. It was very painful. It was different than my other 2 surgeries. And this is because, you know, something was removed. Like, I felt lighter. I felt different. Like, I tell everybody, like, I went into the hospital and I went into the operating room as me, Khalida. And I came out as Khalida, but it was somebody different. Like, it was like just like a different version of me. Like, I sometimes I even say, or I even feel like I felt like a demon was taken out of me because I was miserable and pain. You know, I was just like, oh my God, I was just in pain. And it was to the point where I couldn't even cry no more. Like, I was just like, if this is the way in which I had to live, like, I can't even show any more emotion. You know, like, I would be in pain and I would not be able to express how I feel to people. I would have like shower cries, like where I would vent out my pain and how I felt to myself. So I had my hysterectomy, and then literally like 2-3 weeks into my hysterectomy, I got my video, and my doctor sends you a video of your surgery, which I thought was cool. I'm like, oh, cool, you know, I'll get the video, And then I seen the video, and then everything like started to like process in a different way. So yeah, once again my phone cut out, but I started to process everything differently, and I was more so like, I can't believe that I had a hysterectomy. I can't believe that my ability to have children is like done. And I'm gonna try to make this video like, I'm gonna try to end this video within like these last 10 minutes because I have to go to work tonight. So yeah, so I'm trying to make this quick. So by the way, this is I'm gonna have to like stand up so you guys before I have on my pajama shorts under this, but this is my endometriosis t-shirt. I bought this online on Amazon, and maybe I might leave a link down below. Yeah, I'll leave a link down below. I'll leave a link down below in the description box, so that way you guys can get this shirt. And I thought this shirt was cool because this the people who make these shirts or put these shirts out, you can definitely adjust the woman, and I feel like that was extremely inclusive, and I feel like that was able to, you know, that was inclusive, and it was able to have you connect with the person that's on your shirt. But anyway, so like I said, so I'm gonna wear different endometriosis shirts the whole time I do the whole month of March and stuff like that. But it was just like I started to feel like, you know, I started to feel like lost, and I started to feel angry, and I started like hating everyone around me. And I was like, oh, I was pissed. I was mad at myself. I was mad. Like, I was going through so many different emotions, and I didn't know what was wrong with me. Like, I would just cry at the drop of a dime. And I'm just like, what the hell is wrong with me? Like, what is my problem? Like, this is not me. Like, I'm not this emotional of a person to be like, I would see like something and just bust out crying. So that was like, I think it was because the change of hormones was like so drastic. You know, I went in there, you know, with my uterus and with my ovaries, and I left out without them. So I think it was like really, I think it was a lot for my body, you know, and I still think it's a lot for my body. But, you know, I feel like ultimately it was the best decision. It was the best decision that I made based off the knowledge and the pain that I was going through. You know, I'm not an advocate for women getting hysterectomies unless you understand that this option is going to change your life in a path in which you're going to be willing to be okay with. Because, you know, I had to deal with some, you know, sometime down the road, I had to deal with accepting the fact that I made this decision, accepting the fact that I personally chose to give up on any type of chance of having biological children. And, you know, it's a process that, like, until, you know, recently, you know, especially like going through therapy and being more in touch with my feelings and reading more and watching videos and learning to understand grief and learning to understand the decisions that you make. You know, you make best, sometimes you make it based off the knowledge and what's around you and what's available to you. So, you know, I definitely would say that if you are thinking about hysterectomies or your doctor is talking to you about hysterectomies, you know, yes, it will remove the new growth. So, meaning like you have no more cycles, so no new growth for endometriosis, but there's a possibility even, and by the way, I don't think I said it, but I had excision surgery before I had, like, you know, ablation. They go in burning it, you know, all it does is cause more scar tissue in my opinion, but, you know, whatever. But, you know, I had excision surgery, and the thing is with excision surgery, they go in and they kind of like dig around it and then get it out instead of like ablation is burning it, so they burn it, right? Excision surgery is where they go in and they dig and they go and they get everything. So they might go for, if it's here, if endometriosis is here, they might go all the way down here or even further to get it. So, you know, it's pretty much everything that they get. So if you have any endometriosis that they don't see, that they miss, that's left, you possibly can still have symptoms. So, like, that's something to, like, think about too. And let me just say this, because I don't want to sound like, oh, don't have a hysterectomy or do have a hysterectomy. I think you have to do what's based on you, what you're comfortable with and what you want to do. And for me, my pain before my surgery, 10 out of 10. Like, everything was painful. Sex was painful. Didn't want to do that. That's probably why I didn't like really date, you know, in my younger years. I barely wanted to go out, you know. I was in dance school at one point. That was painful. Like, everything was painful. And then, you know, to now, so that pain was like a 10, right? We fast forward to now, my pain on average, even when I do have like the little, I call them my little endometriosis flare-ups now compared to what they was before, that's like a 2-3. I can deal with a 2-3. And my thing is like, I've learned that a 2-3 comes with the fact that I can't have children, and I have to accept that, right? So it's like, you know, you make decisions, you live with these decisions, and you learn how to move forward with these decisions. And I think that's the road that I'm on now. Like, you know, made the decision, living with the decision, now you gotta move forward with this decision. So, you know, I'm getting to the point where I'm okay with it, but it still hurts. And I think that for a long time, I felt like, oh, well, you can't be okay with it because it still hurts. No, it's okay for it to still, you know, hurt. You're human. I'm human. You know, I'm a woman that, you know, and I hate to say it, but, you know, like, we are created to recreate. And, you know, we're here to, you know, not saying that that's our only purpose, because I think as women, we're capable of doing anything that we put our minds to. But bearing a child is something that is just in your genetic makeup. So when that is compromised and that's taken away from you, it kind of makes you feel like less of a woman. And especially for me, and I'm not saying that this is for everybody. Everything that I'm saying, and I'll probably say this throughout all my videos, this is based off my opinion, based off my experience, based off my facts of me, not anyone else. I'm not saying it because you had it, you feel like less than a woman. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying for me, I had went through episodes where I felt like I was less than a woman. And I'm feeling like now I'm feeling more liberated. I'm feeling more like a woman. I'm feeling like the grown woman that I am now. You know what I'm saying? So I ultimately feel like I made the best decision. It's just, it took me a while to accept and live with that decision. So, you know, I think that as long as you do 3 things, I think 3 things is best for dealing with endometriosis. Number 1, you have to, let me like dealing with endometriosis. Yeah, okay, no, I don't really want to say dealing with endometriosis. I want to say like accepting it and dealing with it, and just like embracing yourself with everything that comes with it. You have to be open to all of possibilities. Doctors, medication, holistic, exercising, diet, resentment, neglect. Like, you have to be willing to do. And when I say neglect, sometimes I mean neglect from yourself, because, you know, I definitely neglect myself along the road of this process. I definitely was a prisoner to endometriosis until last year. And I know that sounds so crazy because I had my surgery at 28 and I'll be 33 this year. But until last year, endometriosis had me like this. Every single day of my life, endometriosis controlled it. It would be times where I would separate a little bit and the endo would be like, girl, you coming back to me. Like, I'm in control of you. I belong. You know what I'm saying? Like, I belong to endometriosis. You know, endometriosis told me what to do. And now I am telling it what to do. And now I'm able to express how I feel. And now I'm able to take control. And when I have those pains and I have those situations comes up, I don't even pay them no mind. You know, but it's something that I had to condition my brain to not feel like the victim that I once felt. You know, not be so broken by the issues and the things that I dealt with endometriosis. So, you know, I think dealing with endometriosis, you have to be willing to fight. You have to be, and it's so hard to say that, and I hate that it has to be that way, but, you know, you have to be willing to not give up. Don't give up, because I feel like sometimes I gave up on myself, and I gave up on, you know, somewhat of what I thought I wanted for my life, because endometriosis will change your view. You know, you have these views and you're younger, you have all these goals, and you have, you know, all these dreams, you know, and I feel like endometriosis and, you know, other stuff too, you know, and I'm not sure if I want to like talk about other things. Like I feel like because this is a channel that I want it to be as authentic as I can. I think that, you know, ultimately you just have to keep going, and ultimately you have to just keep, hold my pillow to like sit up. There you go. I think ultimately you have to keep going. I think ultimately you just have to be willing to just, you know, fight and not give up. Not give up on yourself, you know, not give up on, you know, the things that you want to achieve and, you know, what you want for your life, you know. And I think going forward, I'll probably do like, I feel like I'll talk maybe a little bit more about like, I guess like, I think I'll talk a little bit more about like what overall endometriosis has done to me. But I think I want to, like, I feel like for me, like I want to address like the emotional part of endometriosis, because I feel like endometriosis has like done so much damage like to my mental, and I'm learning to fix that and rewire that I want to talk about that, because, you know, I feel like endometriosis has like endometriosis has took a part of me that I know I'll never get back, but I'm willing to put the work in to be able to fix and come closer to come closer to somebody that I'm comfortable with, because, you know, and I think I'm on that road now, because like I said, like I'm, you know, I'm in therapy right now, whatever. I've learned a whole lot about me. I've also learned, you know, ways in which I can improve myself and ways in which I'm okay with. And, you know, I've learned that, you know, I'm way stronger than what I may think. You know, everybody around me tells me all the time, you're so strong, you're so amazing, you know, you go through all these different obstacles and you're still able to smile and laugh. And inside, I'm just like, y'all crazy. I'm broken. I'm a hot mess. But I'm learning that, you know, sometimes sometimes others, and the other, you know, I cannot talk. I'm telling you, I got a neurological condition too. And I think I'll do another video about that. I think I'll talk about that in April. I think I want to make this whole month about endometriosis and all the videos about endometriosis. But in April, I'll talk about my 2 neurological conditions and how I was supposed to have brain surgery. Well, not brain surgery, but I was supposed to have a surgery where they was going to put a tube in my head, in my brain next week, and also possibly a decompression in the back of my skull. But I'm not having it right now. And like I said, we'll talk about that in April. So like, excuse me in the beginning if I come across me like, what is wrong with this girl? Like, I got a lot going on up there, okay? Let's just say sometimes the brain's like scrambled eggs, okay? When my boyfriend watches this video, he's going to crack up at me, because I tell him all the time, like, oh my God, my brain is scrambled eggs. But I think ultimately you just have to be willing to just understand that, you know, it's a journey, it's a fight, and only God is going to put on to you what you can handle, even though, you know, I'm pretty sure millions out there will agree. You might not always be happy with God. And for a long time, I was mad with God. I was upset. I was angry. I was hurt. Like, why would you do this to me? Like, you know, like, not saying I want somebody else to go through this, but like, why do I have to go through this? I don't want to deal with this, you know. But I'm starting to realize that, you know, it's just a part of my story. It's a part of my life. And this is ultimately one of the reasons why I wanted to do this channel. One of the reasons why I wanted to connect. Because, you know, I feel like I've always been a person that's been able to tell my story and talk about my endometriosis like it's nothing. You know, I talk about my endometriosis like we talk about, you know, celebrities, you know, and what's going on and the new fashion. So, like, for me, it was always so easy to talk about it, even though it was hurtful. So I feel like I want to be able to share my story so no other woman has to deal with it or feel burdened to keep it quiet, you know, because I've talked to women. They told me that, you know, I don't know how you can be so vocal about, you know, what you're going through. And it's like, this is my life. I can't keep it in. This is how I am. I could keep the hurt in, but I can't keep it in by not talking about it, if that makes any sense. Like, I can keep the hurt in and say, oh yeah, it hurts, I'm really sad, but not tell you like, yo, like, it's messing with my mental. I'm having nightmares about my issues, or I can't sleep at night because I'm thinking about, you know, the fact that I'll never be a mom, or, you know, the pain is not having me connect in a way in which I'll probably would never have a relationship. There was so much going on in my mind. That's why I'm going to do another video on what my mental was like with endometriosis, because I have to really get ready to go to work soon. So, you know, that's pretty much what this channel is going to be like. I probably might do like May, June, probably getting close to summertime. I might do like some what I eat in a day. As of right now, I am technically on a plant-based diet, you know, and I do eat, I'm on a plant-based diet. I wouldn't say vegan because like I did do the vegan diet before. It's a lot of work. It's a lot of work, and I felt myself always hungry. I felt myself like I didn't have that constant full feeling in my stomach, but I was always hungry, and it just was a lot of work, honestly. And I didn't really see a difference in how I felt between being a plant-based diet versus a vegan diet. I do eat eggs now. At first I wasn't eating eggs, but I do eat eggs now, and I do occasionally eat fish just because I enjoy salmon. I really do, especially a good quality wild-caught salmon. That's the right color red. But I might do something like what I eat in a day. Excuse me. I am on a journey to lose weight. Right now I am 208 pounds. I am on Weight Watchers WW. I haven't picked a plan yet. So you guys comment down below and tell me which plan I should do. I'm not really sure what plan I should do. I'm on a journey to lose like 35 to 50 pounds. I do go to the gym, and I might do like some get ready with me, go to the gym. I might do some like gym videos later on. Just stuff like that. Right now I live in an apartment complex with my boyfriend. We are in the process of moving soon. In a couple of months, hopefully we won't be here for another year, but I don't know. Like, you know, you never know what life's going to take you or whatever. But like I said, you know, I was in school. I had to take a break, you know, just because I had moved, and it was no longer going to be beneficial and financial for me to go to community college in Philadelphia when I'm living in Chester. It just didn't make no sense. So I'm in the process of getting into Delaware County Community College, because I would like to finish out I would like to, you know, finish with school and get my degree. Like I said, I am a patient care technician, and, you know, I am in school currently. Now, I'm not currently in school, but I am currently on the road to becoming a nurse. But as I'm going through therapy and finding clarity of my life, I don't necessarily know if that is going to be the path for me, or if I'm going to jump into something and try to fill one of those voids and one of those things in my life where I said I wanted to do something as a young child and never I did it. Because before endometriosis, you know, destroyed my high school years, I definitely wanted to go to school for forensic anthropology. So I'm kind of like trying to figure out if I'm going to stay where I'm at, because I know that nursing will be financially beneficial and I can do it. I love people, you know, that's not the issue. Or if I want to achieve something that deep down inside I still want to do, you know, deep down inside, you know, I'm still looking and trying to figure out what's the new things that's going on in the forensic world. So I'm not sure yet, but I'm figuring it out along the way. And I feel like my clock is ticking because I'll be 33. So that's another thing too that's in the back of my head. So it's like, are you able to chase the dream that you had as a young girl, or do you have to face the reality that you're a grown woman and you have bills to pay? So, but ultimately, what's going to make you happy? Because that's all that matters to me now, is being happy. Like, I want to be financially secure. I want to be financially independent, but I want to be happy. Because having endometriosis, I have many, many years of being unhappy. And I want to be happy. So that's important. And I'm also going to talk about, like, families and friendships along the way with endometriosis, because it is a lot to unpack, and it is a lot that needs to be talked about. And, you know, some are good and some are bad, and some eye-opening situations that happened with me in 2019. But actually, no, it started in 2018, and it just spilled over into 2019, and some stuff got cleared up and some stuff moved out and just going forward. So I want to do like a separate video like that, because I think that we need to acknowledge and appreciate our support system, but also be able to, you know, call people out when they need to be called out, when they're using your help. But that would definitely be in a separate video. And then also really quick, I want to like, tell me, like, you guys, let me know like what camera should I have. Like, let me know like what's the best camera. You know, I would like to like keep it under like, I would say like maybe like $700-800, but you know, we'll go from there. But anyway, make sure that you like, comment, and subscribe. And thank you, appreciate you. Remember, you are capable of doing whatever you want, as long as you are willing to put the work in, as long as you do not compromise your integrity, as long as you do not push other people down along the way, and as long as you are able to build a relationship with God and just love yourself. So thank you. Bye.